Tonight we'll be unraveling the closed-door meeting of APC governors which held yesterday night. We'll be finding out the agenda tonight on the program. Resident doctors are warning federal government about their demands and are giving the federal government a 4 weeks ultimatum. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale right here in Abuja. The resident doctors of Nigeria under the National Association of Resident Doctors, NAD, of giving the federal government a 4-week ultimatum to fully implement outstanding agreements on salaries, allowances, and welfare, as it has extended the suspension of its which held today in Jos a few minutes ago in a jointly signed statement by the NAD President, Dr. Mohammed Usman, the Secretary, and some other top officials of the association. They're asking for says the extension of progress made by the warning, however, that failure to meet agreed timelines could lead to renewed nationwide action. And I'll bring you to Abuja, where Federal Capital Territory workers are still demanding that the authorities in the FCT should listen and yield to their demands and agitation. But the Minister of the FCT, Mr. Yensam Wike, is asking them to embrace reconciliation and for the sake of peace and the progress of the FCT. He was speaking earlier today on the sideline of a tour that he made in the city.
This society is not a lawless society. Court. It's unfortunate. People say we want to be a court order. That means we're a lawless society. And let me say that the mere fact that I filed notice of appeal does not automatically mean that it's a stay of execution of that order. It does not. I have said litigation is not the best, but we have no choice after we have pleaded and pleaded and pleaded and pleaded. Mr. President is doing the best he can do. But he can also support by being progressive minded. So I appeal to all of you. Forget this thing, you go and block the gates. Say you will not obey court order. Let me advise you. It depends on whom you are dealing with. It depends. By the time we go for contempt of those who are blocking or those who wrote later that they will not obey the court order, then you will see the difference. You will see the difference. We did not take laws into hand. All we said, okay, let's go and see who is wrong and who is right. And we are still open for dialogue. So I appeal to all of you to have a reconciliation and allow peace to reign.
FCT Minister earlier today seeking reconciliation with the FCT workers who are on industrial strike action. But our conversation tonight will be very critical. So sit around, everyone, and get a cup of coffee or a cup of water, as the case may be, because if you have this conversation, listen to this conversation over a plate of meal, you might get distracted. You've got to listen to every bit of it. It's very crucial, and I promise you it is. Before we get into the conversation with my guest tonight, let's serve you with some of your political roundup stories.
The Senate has commenced investigation as a critical step towards inclusive governance in Nigeria. The women who gathered at the UN House in Abuja insist that the bill will help address the long-standing gender imbalance in Nigeria's political space and give women a stronger voice in governance. Addressing the gathering, the United Nations Development Representative, Ms. Elsie Atafua, says increased representation of women in legislative and decision-making positions will not only promote equity, but also improve policy outcomes across key sectors. Former Governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, has been granted permission by the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja to go to Saudi Arabia to perform the 2026 Lesser Hajj in the Holy Land. While granting the permission, Justice Emeka Nwite ordered that the passport of the former governor, which has been in the custody of the court, be released to him temporarily. Consequently, the court granted the request, approving the release of the passport from March the 13th, 2026 for a period of 10 days, and thereafter adjourned till Friday, January the 30th, for the continuation of the examination of the 7th prosecution witness. The committee set up by the Taraba State government to ensure seamless electronic registration of APC members is assuring the party of registering over 2 million new and existing members in Taraba State. According to the committee, the electronic registration of members is a strategic mobilization drive to expand the party's base, strengthen internal cohesion, and prepare the party for future political engagements. The committee insists that the electronic registration provides a credible, transparent, and technology-driven membership database, enhance accuracy, and will ensure that it overtakes other states despite starting the registration exercise behind schedule. The president of the Economic Community of West African States, Dr. Omar Toure, is calling for sustained international support from development partners as he outlines the activities and milestones recorded by the regional bloc in 2025. Speaking at a high-level engagement with development partners, Mr. Toure says ECOWAS recorded notable progress in regional integration, economic cooperation, peace and security, despite political and security challenges in parts of West Africa. He also reiterates the zero-tolerance stance of the regional bloc on coup plots and attempts. Over 500 anti-corruption lawyers have stormed the headquarters of the Ministry of Finance in Abuja, demanding accountability and prompt release of verified funds owed indigenous contractors. The lawyers, under the aegis of the Concerned Lawyers for Probity and Justice, say they're out to pursue legal remedies, including court enforcement of contractual rights, in addition to seeking international monitoring of the payment processes.
And there you have it. You've been served with your political roundup story. Senator Mbamdele.
Stand down the 1st to the 5th business of the day to enable us take the first order of the day, and the essence of that would be just for the representative of the chairman of the Senate Committee on INEC to lay the report from the committee, and we then proceed to a closed-door session before we can go into consideration of the report. So my motion, sir, is that we stand down the businesses of the day to enable us take the first order of the day to enable the representative of the INEC chairman committee lay the report, and we can then proceed to a closed-door session before further consideration of the report. I so move.
After this, they went into a closed-door session, and when they returned, this was the decision of the Senate. There's going to be an harmonization committee to fuse together the views of all of the parties and stakeholders involved. Take a listen to the Senate President.
The Senate has set up a small committee to further make contributions, galvanize, distill all the opinions of the civil senators and present them to us for final deliberation on Tuesday. The committee, not in particular order of ranking, has chosen, for technical reasons, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Judiciary and Legal Matters, Distinguished Senator Niyi Adegbomire, as chairman.
That's it. On the electoral amendment bill, we see other plans. Don't forget that the House has since passed that bill, waiting for the Senate to do its own part of the job. So yesterday we saw at the Imo Governors Lodge here in Abuja, governors of the APC, otherwise known as the Progressives Governors Forum, met the leadership and chairmanship of the governor of Imo State, who is the chair of the Progressive Governors Forum. And after their meeting, which held behind closed doors, this, we understand, is about the internal affairs of the APC and the forthcoming congresses and the convention of the party. After the meeting, this is what the governors came to in their decision.
The forum reaffirmed our commitment to deepening internal democracy, strengthening our party structure, and advancing the reforms that promote transparency, accountability, and inclusiveness within the party across all levels of the Federation. The Progressive Governors welcomed the comprehensive briefing by our national chairman on the ongoing national e-registration and digital membership update, which has recorded significant growth in our numbers, including increased youth participation and the integration of national identity number, NIN. The forum noted that this initiative will enhance data-driven planning, improve democratic and demographic insights, and strengthen grassroots engagement across states and communities. The forum reviewed and endorsed the proposed timetable and the institutional framework already approved by the National Executive Committee of our great party for forthcoming world, local government, state and zonal congresses, and the national convention.
Then you heard the chair of the Progressives Governors Forum, Hope Uzodinma, the governor of Imo State. But let's get some insight. There is so much more about the internal affairs of the APC. Some of the issues have been raised, and perhaps the state of the nation are being joined by Governor of Nasarawa State, Governor Abdullahi Sule, who is live for us virtually from Lafia. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. It's good to see you. This is the first time this year. Thank you so much indeed for creating this time to have this chat.
Thank you so much, Shaun. Happy New Year to you also.
Happy New Year. Thank you so much indeed. Let's begin the conversation. We know, and we are hearing from the grapevine, that you and your colleagues in the APC and the Progressive Governors Forum, that you are up to, you have an agenda, and the agenda is to expand and get more governors into your rank. What exactly are you doing with more governors? Because there are those who say having more governors does not determine whether or not your party can win an election. Governors don't amount to the popularity of people's votes.
Very much, Shaun. I have had that, and I have had the opposite of that also. The governors, as you all know, are the leaders of the states. They are the ones that pay salaries. They are the ones actually that create most of the development. They are the ones looking after the healthcare, education, youth, sports, agriculture, and everything there. So definitely, anybody who will say that the governors have no influence in what is happening, then the governors will not even have been elected. You know, so the truth of the matter is that the more governors you have, the more opportunities you have. And we have seen that clearly in the year 2014, 2015, when a lot of the PDP governors went into the new PDP, and a lot of them now moved to APC. And as you all know, it helped a lot in ensuring that the late President Muhammadu Buhari was elected in the year 2015. So anybody who will tell you that the more governors you have, maybe the less chances you have, then the person has a lot to learn about politics. Because the governors indeed have a lot of roles to play when it comes to exactly what is happening. That's what it is.
That's going to be an interesting one, because there are those who also ask the question, and Rauf Aregbesola said, and probably will play that soundbite to you so that you understand that perspective. Rauf Aregbesola had mentioned that if that is the case, that narrative, why did the APC lose in President Bola Tinubu's stronghold, his own home state of Lagos, in the 2023 elections?
Well, he might have lost the 2023 elections in Lagos, but he won the election at the national level. You see, it is true that the elections is in the hands of the electorate. It's in the hands of the masses. They are the ones who go out there and do. But the more people we have, the more governors we have, and the more development they are able to bring to the various states, the more impact the governors are able to make, the more the chances of the party is. Today, I can tell you without any ambiguity, I can tell you without any kind of objection or whatever you can think of, the chances of APC today are far better than the chances of the APC in 2023. Because I have visited so many states. In fact, I just came from Jos. I did the opening remarks in Jos. I just came from Jos. Jos is a different state altogether. In the next few days, I'm going to Adamawa instead of another political party, Yet, I'm going there, to go on issues concerning development in that particular state. Every state you go, you will see a lot of developments taking place. Who are providing this development? The state governors. How are they doing it? With the support of the federal government, with the support of the reforms that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has carried out, and that is where we are. So if anybody tells you the governors have no role, then we wait and see whether the governors have a role or not. But when you bring specific situations, like what happened in Lagos, what happened maybe in Nasarawa, in Plateau, in the rest of that, you will see a different thing altogether, because that is not the kind of election we are going to have. For people who may remember, we had one of the most difficult elections, during that period. So many changes were taking place. Change of currency, no petrol going from one place to another, all kinds of challenges that we had. So it was a very challenging period, which we believe that's not the kind of elections we are going to have when it comes to 2027 by the grace of God.
Let me show you what Rauf Aregbesola, former governor of Osun State, a former right-hand man, perhaps one of those who will say this is perhaps was the closest man to President Bola Tinubu until they fell out. This is what he said a few days ago. Take a listen to him.
Something is going on in there now, which is worrisome. Those of us who are Democrats, or who want to be genuine Democrats, about the fact that 30 governors are supporting a party, and for that reason that party is undefeatable. And I laugh. I laugh because the recent statistics in Nigeria does not support this. And I want to use the opportunity of this microphone to let the Nigerians know that the last election in this country and the result from that election never support this particular belief. In the first instance, I want to say, if the party to which the governments are defecting are so sure, let them commit to a free and fair electoral process and see what will be the result. That's the first solution. The second solution is to say, and I'm going to use result from two zones. Those two zones to capture this argument that when you have governors with you are so effective. I will use result from two zones. I can use for all zones. I will use actual result from two zones. Southwest and Southeast.
You heard him right in his own very words. And these are those who you say know President Bola Tinubu too well.
Well, knowing President Bola Tinubu full well and elections of 2027 are completely two different things. There might be people who knew him even more than I call him His Excellency, Brother Rauf. That's how I call him. There may be people who even know him more than that. But you see, you are comparing apples and oranges. And I'm sure if Brother Rauf was the governor of Osun State, he will not be speaking the way he spoke. If Brother Rauf did not fall out with the president, he's still in APC, he will not be speaking that. So to be fair to him, he spoke like an opposition. And that's the way opposition is supposed to speak. In fact, I expected more hostile response than that. And so what he did the right thing. In politics, you always have to puncture a good thing of your opponent, to make it not as good. And that's exactly what he's saying. But there is no ambiguity. There is no doubt. There is no hesitation. The more governors you have, the more chances you have. Period.
But I wonder where your narrative or your perspective, Governor, how that stands, considering the fact that I can list a number of states that APC controlled in 2023, but you lost it. Kaduna inclusive. Lagos, you lost it at the presidential election. And ADC has said it's going to be an election of APC versus the Nigerian people. And that is the time you will know the true popularity or unpopularity of your party, and that those governors who are moving will truly know where they stand in the state of things in the country.
Let me clear one point for you. It's not even an election of APC versus the people. It's an election of the candidates versus the people. For us here in Nasarawa, we actually vote for candidates. I will tell you what happened in 2011. Nasarawa had been known before then as the stronghold of PDP. In the 2011 elections, the same day, same election, same hours, same minutes, the PDP produced 20 out of 24 members of the House of Assembly as PDP. Yet, the PDP candidate lost, and APC with only 4 members won the election. So it's an election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu under the platform of APC. Let me correct. It's the election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima against all these other candidates who are going to come from the other parties. The elections we have in 2023 is the same. What the people voted, they actually voted. In Nasarawa State, for the presidential election, actually, Labour Party won. APC came second. When it comes to the governorship election, APC was not, Labour Party was not even number 3 or 4 or 5. So, in the elections in Nigeria, rather than saying it's APC against the people, it's actually candidates. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as well as Kashim Shettima, as his deputy, but against all the other candidates, not against the people of Nigeria. People of Nigeria are going to vote for the best candidates that they know have made impact in their lives, whether it's governorship, senatorial, House of Reps, or House of Assembly elections. That is the way it is. That's the way it has always been. So it's a wrong impression to always say it's APC against Nigerians. It is not. It is actually the candidates that are going to stand, because when they go there, they are voting for those candidates. And you will have to take the candidate of APC and see who can you compare that candidate with before you'll be able to get there. This is the fact.
That is what the ADC said. Well, ideologically, one would think it is true, because it's going to be a re-election seeking election for President Bola Tinubu, because he is the one who made promises to Nigerians. So it's going to be him facing the voters and getting a judgment at the polls, either to be rejected or to be accepted based on his performance versus the promises he made to Nigerians, of some of which he has said, if I don't give you this, don't vote for me, including power. And in 2 weeks, we've seen blackout twice. The national grid had collapsed yet again. Keep collapsing like someone suffering from a heart attack. But look, Governor, what do you want to do with more governors? And I understand that there are more governors that are likely to join your party. Who are these governors?
Why are they refusing them if they want to join? Why does the party get panic when another governor is leaving? If the governor's leaving, it doesn't mean anything. Why will the governor leaving become a betrayer? Why will a governor leaving becomes a big problem if the governors will not make any impact? If we don't need the governors for anything. And like you rightly mentioned, as at yesterday, we welcome the 29th governor, that's the governor of Plateau State, to our meeting. So it was 28 after welcoming the governor of Taraba, who will be received in the next 2 days officially, but he has already been received into the party. Now, these governors, they are actually going to be those who are selling the party and who are also selling themselves and selling Mr. President. So this is what is going to happen. So the more governors you have, as I said, the better. But let me repeat a statement I made one day, when I was coming out of the villa and I was asked. I said, there is no way all the 36 governors of Nigeria are going to be one party. And even if that happens, Nigeria will never be a one-party state. But it's not even going to happen from all indications. So yes, you are right. We're 29 and counting, so most likely a few more governors will join. So, and why are they joining? They are joining because of the impact that they have been able to make as a result of the various reforms, by Mr. President. Like I said earlier, if you go to every state in the Federation, you will see major changes as a result of the improved revenue that these governors are getting. If you go to the local government areas, a lot of the local government areas, I won't say all, you will see a lot of impact as a result of the resources they have received. Where are these resources coming from? The impact that we have seen from the various reforms of Mr. President. This is the issue. So that's why when they say, why are the governors don't make any difference if they lose? But then they come back to say, we are fighting the governor. We don't want them to leave. If they leave, it's a betrayal. So it's actually a tautology. It's a situation where you are contradicting yourself. So since the governors don't mean anything, allow them to go. And I think that's the right way. Then we will see at the end of the day whether it makes sense or not. But yes, we want more governors, and yes, most likely we are going to get more.
I understand that Governor Adamawa and another one will become. Is that right?
I'm not going to tell you, Sule, but you will see them one after another. You will continue to see them one after another, and I think once you see them, then you count. So right now you have counted 29 yesterday. When you get the next one, count 30. When you get the next one, 31 or 32. I think that's the way it should go. But I'm not in their minds. I'm not in the minds of the governors. We don't have any governor in APC that is going to another party. I will have told you. I will have said, this is an APC governor that is going to another party. We don't have one so far. So all the governors that are actually coming into APC from others. So I don't know for them.
Give us an understanding. You made what sounded like a slip in Jos, where you seem to have determined that President Bola Tinubu may be going with another person as his flag bearer, as his running mate in 2027. You said he's the vice presidential candidate of the party till 2027. It just sounded so much like the narrative and what we are hearing on the ground that there is a possibility that the APC might have a Christian running mate based on the some of the issues that have been generated over the past weeks. Those who say has put the pressure on the presidency, on the APC to consider a faith balanced ticket ahead of 2027.
Well, I think you have heard from our national chairman, in fact, from the party, when they said clearly that this is not a subject for discussion. So you heard that from them. Now, let me tell you on a personal ground, yes, you are right. It's a mistake. As a human being, I wanted to say 2031, I said 2027. But it is also right. He will be the vice president until 2027 and 2027 to 2031. So it's a little slip, but it's not a major slip. There is no, like they say in America, where I was trained, why fix it if it's not broken? As far as we are concerned, we have a very strong team. We have a very, very strong team of president and vice president. So if you want to ask me, I will tell you, why fix it if it's not broken?
What about the possible backlash? Is the party prepared for that?
Apart from the possible backlash that we had in 2023, you see, in 2023, a lot of people were scared. They were scared of this so-called Muslim ticket, what it will be. Because as at the time, it was just a ticket. We didn't have the other positions. We didn't have Senate President, okay? We didn't have the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. We didn't have the office, of the SGF. We didn't have this because it was just the ticket people were looking at. Today, you have seen the blend. You have seen people from these other areas that have come in. You have seen who is the minister of this, who is the minister of that, so the so-called Muslim ticket has absolutely no negative impact on non-Muslims because you have seen that over and over and over. So I don't think it is the issue of religion, and that's why the party says, why even discuss it? Don't discuss it because it's not an issue for discussion. So that's why we stop.
Let's take a break, Governor Sule, and when we come back, there are, in fact, very much critical conversation that we'll be having over the state of the nation, the internal affairs of your party. I understand that you and your colleagues are up to something as far as the registration and the mobilization ahead of 2027 is concerned. We'll be right back, everyone, after this break. With us, Governor Abdullahi Sule is the governor of Nasarawa State and is speaking with us virtually live from Lafia, the capital of Nasarawa State. Governor, part of what we understand that you discussed yesterday at that meeting was the party congresses. And I say that the national chairman of the APC was also there. How do you hope to conduct that Congress, or what did you agree on the conduct of the congresses? Because we now understand that your e-registration of members of the party is ongoing.
Well, we wish to, you are right, the chairman was there, but it's not just the national chairman was there. It's actually members of the National Working Committee, including the chairman, the secretary, the vice chairman. They were all there. And part of the issue is for us to discuss two major things, actually. Number one is to discuss the aspect, of when the congresses should be held. Secondly, to also discuss what kind of fees that we will charge, for some of these forms and then expression of interest and the rest of that. And finally, the mode of the Congress. But you see, mode of Congresses are determined by each state. As you all know, there are various kinds, it could be direct, it could be indirect, or it can be consensus. So any one of the three usually is acceptable even by INEC and acceptable by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that is exactly the way that it is. So that cannot be discussed for every state of the Federation. That is usually, discussed by each state, depending on the mode of the Congress that is selected by every state. And that is usually also by the stakeholders of the state and the state working committee members of the party, in the state. That's the way it is usually done. So what we discuss are that. And one of the most interesting things you need to see, Sheol, about yesterday's fees, and I'm sure they are going to be published and agreed. What is being proposed, is completely different from what people expected. The fees that are going to be there, for instance, what 5,000 naira expression of interest for the ward chairman, in order to be ward chairman of APC, 20,000 naira. So it's being done to accommodate, some of the challenges, economic challenges that are being faced in the country. So, and I think this is something that is different. As you know, the APC has always taken women into consideration. In most cases, they either pay half or they don't pay anything at all. So those are the kinds of things that were discussed, and that's it. The e-registration is something because it's a digital era. So it doesn't make sense that you want to know the number of members you have, and then they have to go and start looking every state, bring your number. But now, based on the platform that has been created, you can actually be a member, apply online, and then you can just one touch, you will be able to know how many members you have in every ward, every local government, every state, and totality in the federation. So it's just moving in and with the digital era that is there. So that's what the APC is doing. So it's not anything that is being planned to cheat anybody or to create anything like the way you say it, like we're conniving, we're planning, we're doing, just planning to be exactly, normal with the way life is today. That's what it is.
To what end is the e-registration of the party? What are you hoping to achieve with it? Is it just for the sake of it, or what would that do for your party?
No, it will do a lot for the party. It will do so much for the party. When you know your members, people who are part of members of the party, it helps you to plan. To plan your own congresses, to plan who are going to be. And when you are doing anything, maybe especially that will benefit people of your party, then you know who they are. You have their telephone numbers, you have their NIN numbers, so you will be able to contact them. So when you are having a meeting that is strictly for the party, you know where to go, you know who the people are. So even for planning, actually, you need to know who they are rather than just, you leave everything, open that whoever comes tomorrow and say, I'm a member, all right, as a member. How about the person who has been there 20 years ago? Okay, he's a member. So it doesn't really make sense. So it's for planning.
Give us an understanding on what you agreed on as a caucus and as a party. There are new governors that are coming into an already established structure of the party in a different state. What is the party's decision in the solution of the structure that are coming in and fusing it into the new one? Because congresses will come and there are statutory delegates. There are delegates on different categories. What is the resolution pattern or method that you have employed or hoping to apply in some of these states that you have to consider that a new governor is coming in, or a governor is coming into the party? Who is going to be the leader, and what's the modality of fusing those who are coming into the party and the old members?
No, that one was decided when we had our NEC and caucus. It's not something that was done yesterday. If you remember, Mr. President, during our NEC meeting, when he was making his presentations, and I think the press were called after he made his speech to go ahead and get the information, that all the people who are coming new, they are as good, to benefit everything that is there for those who are there in party. So that's why, in fact, there is this Congress that is taking place. So nobody is excluded because he's just coming in. They are accommodated. It's an inclusive party. So what Mr. President said, which was what was agreed at NEC, was that all the people who are coming newly, are members of the party. They are accepted at the party. They have the full rights and privileges, of all the other members who are there, and they can participate in the Congress. So that's just what it is. But this is not what was discussed yesterday. It was discussed during the NEC meeting, and Mr. President actually briefed, everybody on that here.
What about Rivers State? It does look like their own situation is very interesting. There is Nyesom Wike, although he says he's a member of the PDP, but a lot of the members of the APC have sworn allegiance to him, and the governor has arrived into the APC, And there are established members of the party before them, the likes of Magnus Abbey, the likes of the Kuku Peter side, the likes of Tanya Jack Rich. These are some of the people who have been running the affairs of the party before the advent of or the coming of Governor Simlaye Fubara. How is the party open to resolve a very delicate situation in the state?
Well, that we have asked the party to go and study the situation and actually brief us about if they need anything from the Progressive Governors Forum, because it's purely a party affair for another state. So for that reason, it is the party that has been advised, because as you mentioned yourself, the party was there, members of the National Working Committee, were there during the meeting. So they were asked, to go ahead, and investigate what is happening there, and if they need our input in anywhere, well, they can confirm us, but it's not something for the Progressive Governors. It's actually a party affair.
But are you worried that one of your colleagues might be impeached? Is there anything you and your colleagues are doing to salvage the situation?
I'm not worried because I think it's an issue of the court. I'm not worried about anybody impeaching anyone. You don't just wake up and impeach somebody without going through the due process, and I think it is there. Of course, whatever happens to any of our colleagues, we are worried, but we are not so worried to the point of we are saying he's going to be impeached. From all indications, actions are being taken, courts are taking the decisions, the CJ is taking a position, and that's all. For that reason, we're not worried.
Let's take another break, Governor, but when we come back, there are those who think that the pressure mounting on your party, especially the coming together of major opposition heavyweights, is going to leave your party in shambles and render it homeless and rejected by the Nigerian people. We'll be finding out from you the strategy you're hoping to employ to convincing Nigerians in looking the way of your party, especially because of the promises that have been made. Have they been delivered and performed? That's after this break, everyone. Join us again. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. Governor Abdullahi Sule is speaking with us. Governor Sule, there is a conscious effort by opposition forces, and you see the alignment and is directed at one thing. They've made a promise that come 2027, if free and fair elections are allowed, that the APC will be sent packing, and they will make sure that they end President Bola Tinubu's ambition of returning to office. And they seem to have been gathering momentum. Just a few days ago or yesterday, they announced a 50, that's in the ADC, they announced a 50-man committee member to look into a document that will probably give Nigerians an idea of what the party intends to do and the ideology of the political party. This is momentous, and you will see on the streets of Abuja today, Peter Obi is on the street campaigning for the local council election in the city, and the momentum is swelling for them. And there are those who say, this is how it starts. APC be one, they're sending you back home or packing.
Okay, Shehu. Yeah. I heard you make that kind of comment many times, where they will send APC packing, they will send APC packing. And we had that before the by-elections in Kaduna. We had it before the by-election in Oshun, in Ondo. We had it before the by-elections in Ekiti. We had it over and over and over, and it is not anything new. And as I said, this is the way you expect opposition actually to act. So they are acting like the true opposition that they are. But who are these people that you are talking about? Because it is constantly, His Excellency Peter Obi, that has gone here, has done this, has done that, and is a party that just recently, the same Labour Party are talking about just recently finished all the crises they have. The same PDP have not even finished their own crisis. So you are left with maybe one or two other parties. So this is the issue. And if you are actually APC, what is there to scare you? Because there are 50 members who are going to sit down and review that. APC can sit down and set up a 500 member at one point, and all of them major stakeholders in this country who have held some top positions. Nigeria today. Yes, I continue to hear, the Nigeria, and sometimes people just make the comments, Nigerians are going through difficulty, this and that, but people don't come back to realize, what other things are the people doing? How many people today who couldn't go to school with no form of, student loan that today are having? How many thousands of people are there? People are not saying that. How many thousands of people are going to the farm? How much was the price of rice? How much? I'm a farmer, let me tell you. Nasarawa State, last year, from our rice production, we sold our paddy 78,000 naira per ton. This year, our rice, we were lucky when we get a meal that bought it at 40,000 naira per ton. 40,000 naira per ton. So prices of food have drastically reduced. It has its ups and downs when they reduce also, because you have farmers also who will complain about that. So it is on and on and on. People just look at one area that you are saying and say that, okay, this is the area. Security is improving, in so many other places. It's still a challenge in a few states here and there. And you will see the effort that is being made continuously. Agriculture, things have gone well. We have now more areas that we are getting revenue. Today, we are having our foreign reserve, for the first time in so many years, going to about 46 billion US dollars. Today, if you look at it, you are looking at inflation that went to almost 30. And today is actually inflation that is running towards single digit, better than even what was budgeted. These are the facts, Sheun. You are looking at stability in so many other areas. Foreign exchange stability that you are getting, which people didn't think it was going to happen. So today you can plan your trip for the next 4 or 5 months. We have just finished working on the Hajj. A couple of years, we couldn't even finish because they are saying, we don't know what the foreign exchange will be. Today it's gone, it's done, it's finished, it's paid. So these are the issues that you would see. So there are so many good things that are happening, but people look at just the few challenges. And now you are telling me because some 50 wise people are sitting down and drawing a document, therefore, we are going, APC will be sent packing. Packing to where?
Governor Sule, Governor Sule, for me, right, as a journalist, what I'm going to be asking my question about is not the sentiment and the emotions about those who are involved and those who are not involved. Is for me how whatever decision of your party and the performance on the promises that have been made have been delivered on the Nigerian people, whether or not they feel it. And I understand the precarious situation your party might find itself, because they are part of the macroeconomic side of things that are evident. But the microeconomic side of things are really, really unfelt by the people. There are those who are feeling the pain and still asking the questions, when will this pain go? And if they're not feeling the ease just yet, I'm wondering what manner of communication or magic wand you're going to wave in the sky to convince them or to sway them to vote for your party. That is the difficulty. Time is ticking. You have few months to be able to do the convincing. How that will happen, what magic your party will perform within these few months is what I'm wondering how it's going to happen and what you think about.
And let me correct one thing you said, Sheun, and I'm in a very good position to correct. Because the truth is that I have lived in Nigeria. I have lived also in other democracies. I have lived in those countries. Completely, no nation. Everywhere you go, you will find one set of pens or the other. But you see, a realistic, responsible government is to be taking each one of these pens and resolving them one at a time. And I think this is what this government is doing. You know, the government is picking each one of these areas one at a time. But if you say, until all the pens of Nigeria are gone, just yesterday, we were discussing about the issues of Almajiri. And we are saying we must come up with a formula that actually will reduce the challenges of the Almajiri because it's a time bomb. So somebody may tell you, my main problem is Almajiri. Until that pen is gone. You see, so it is difficult for anybody to sit down and say there is one nation in the world where no pens is there whatsoever. There is not.
Governor Abdullah Sule, always a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so much indeed for your time again tonight.
Thank you so much, Ashon. Always happy to see you.
I appreciate it. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. God bless Nigeria.